Welcome to Coventry, the most geographically central city in England, and a city that's been recommended to me as quite a rough town with a lot of problems by viewers that watch the channel. I'm currently in Coventry Cathedral, a 12th century cathedral that on the night of the 14th of November 1940, along with the rest of the city, was destroyed by a German bombing in the Second World War. All that was left was the structure that you see around me, and much of the city centre, much of the historical buildings of the city centre were destroyed. Coventry was a centre for automotive manufacturing. It was an incredibly important industrial city in England, and that made it a prime target in the Second World War for the Germans. In the 50s and 60s, the city was rebuilt to the architectural styles of that time, and in many ways that made it quite unsightly as we move into the modern period. So growing up not a million miles from here in the West Midlands, Coventry was always given to me as a reputation of an unsightly and quite grim place, and recently it's had a bit of a uplift, being named the City of Culture a couple of years ago, and a lot of development, I've learned, is planned for the ageing, brutalist 60s shopping precincts not too far from here. But I've also been told that there are some problems in the city, a lot of homelessness. We hear about that in many of the places we go. So I've come to Coventry today. We're going to have a look around, we're going to see if we can meet the people, see what Coventry's really like as a place to live in 2023, and see if we can have a look at the underbelly of the city and see if there are indeed these problems that people talk about. Best one yet. What's life like in Coventry?
Shocking.
Shocking, why?
Rough as hell.
And why is it rough?
You got stabbings happening down the road, you got
Really?
robberies everywhere, yeah.
I don't know what to say. People call it a shithole.
Yeah.
I was just going to say shithole.
Yeah. But it's not really a shithole. In the hole, that's where you find diamonds, you got me? You got all types in Coventry. It was voted the city of culture.
Absolutely,
So you
yeah.
got all cultures over here.
Very multicultural.
Yeah, very multicultural. So in a multicultural, like it's rich with culture, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't even know what you can call this multicultural culture, but it's a new kind of culture coming out.
Yeah, like one culture which is multicultural.
Yeah, What can we find a word for that?
So I don't expect to come across as many boarded up, abandoned shops and storefronts as I did in Grimsby. But this is what I expected before I came to Coventry today. Obviously the city was incredibly brutally bombed in the Second World War. A lot of it was destroyed and a lot of it had to be rebuilt, and it was rebuilt in the 60s, the 50s, 60s. A lot of brutalist architecture, not so visually pleasing on the eye. I'm already seeing signs of boarded up dereliction, and I'm just in the city centre, just walked here from the train station. Lots of boarded up storefronts here. Even the Subway sandwich outlet hasn't survived. And this really interesting prefab concrete attempt at making this brutal, nasty precinct look attractive in some way. What's Coventry like in 2023? In your words.
Beautiful, handsome, generous, and so on.
All the good things, nothing bad about Coventry.
Nothing bad.
Nearly all the stores in this precinct are boarded up. Look at this. So, in a different way to Grimsby and on a different chronology, but Coventry is still another UK town that is beset with post-industrial decline. It was once an incredibly productive centre for automotive manufacturing, and a lot of that industry has left now. And yet again you can see the boarded up shops and the sad looking high street. And I spoke to a couple of people already and they don't seem to think this is anything out of the ordinary, and we're starting to see that institutionalised understanding of people under 30, 40 years old in this country, in these places that are suffering from decline. But they don't know any different, because this decline has been on set for decades. I mean, I've just got off the train and I see a lot of boarded up shops
Yeah.
What's that all about?
When it's, don't get me wrong, when it's finished, I think it'll be amazing.
So is there a big development
Oh yeah.
plan for the city, yeah?
Yeah, I mean all that down there is all coming down.
Yeah, I can see it's ripe to come
Yeah.
down, yeah. Was that built in like the 60s, I imagine?
I think it was.
When they
yeah,
rebuilt
yeah,
after
yeah.
the bombings, yeah.
But I think even that's before our time.
I grew up in the West Midlands, and I think maybe like 20, 30 years ago, the reputation of Coventry was that of... I didn't want to say it, but you can say it. You live here.
We live here, we can say
but
that.
I've come today, and I'm like, there's a lot of development planned.
Oh, yeah.
People are quite positive.
Actually, how long has it been? You see the town has changed.
I haven't been here in 20 years, mate.
So you've seen the town has changed, yeah?
Yeah,
See
a
the
lot.
train station?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
A lot of buildings.
Yeah, lots of the development now.
Don't go away, mate. Gosford, what's wrong with Gosford? Yeah, it's all right, yeah. What's wrong with Gosford, mate?
Well, all the killing and shooting, all the killing and shooting is stopped up round there.
Yeah.
But it's happening round there, so watch yourself.
So
Go around there with them.
So the problem is still around, but it's moved areas, yeah.
Yeah.
What will happen if I take my camera to Gosford?
You get to take it up, yeah.
Take it off me.
Yeah. That's where all the young nutters are, so...
Yeah, there's a lot of gang violence there.
There's more... Yeah. And I don't understand the postcode bullshit, because none of them don't own a house.
No.
You know what I mean? So why are they fighting?
Yeah.
Don't make sense.
No, it don't make sense at all, no. Yeah, so what's the vibe in town in general in 2023?
Mellow. Well,
Mellow.
Amongst...
mellow.
I love Coventry because Coventry is in the centre of England.
It is the most central city in England,
The
yeah.
most central
You never know, it
city.
could be some chemical.
Then the Coventry University has made it very vibrant because young people come from all over
Yeah.
nations. I find Coventry very vibrant.
Yeah.
I love it. It's very welcoming. I've never had racism here. Nobody has ever treated me in a bad way. Generally, Coventry is a good place.
So I've climbed to the top of a cathedral tower, and I recommend it to anybody that comes to Coventry. It's probably a bit windy up here for the audio, but you can see, folks, the many different architectural faces of Coventry. Obviously in this 12th century cathedral, or at least the cathedral began its construction in the 12th century, obviously developed as the centuries went on. And then we've spoken about the destruction of the cathedral, and that we've seen, if I wander over here, what's left of the shell of the cathedral, which we were standing inside of moments ago. Then in the distance there, some clearly quite modern sky rises. The brown brick buildings there, quite modern, not incredibly unsightly, much like many new developments in cities these days. You see some older buildings here and more modern developments over yonder. But then what's really interesting to me is if we come back to this side of the tower, and you can see the precincts I was talking about. The central part of the city, much of it was destroyed in the bombing in 1940, and these are the quite brutal structures that were built in the 60s to rebuild the city. Those that Coventry for many decades has been quite infamous for being quite unsightly. Strangely, now that I'm here in Coventry and I can see from a bird's eye view at the top of the cathedral these 60 structures, these precincts, shopping centres, there's an element of character to them that I didn't anticipate. The true architectural character of a city can only really be appreciated fully when you've had a look from a bird's eye view. This is an interesting city, very different to the cities I was filming in Yorkshire earlier this week. So I'm excited to get back down onto ground level and explore some more sides of Coventry. So what's your name, mate?
Andy.
Andy, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, mate.
So you're on the streets here in the precinct in Coventry today?
Yeah.
How long have you been on the streets?
4 years. It's quite hard, especially through COVID. It's just loneliness as well, to be honest.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And what about like safety, like in terms of like being on the
Friday and
streets?
Saturday nights, I normally stay outside the city centre.
Is that because of like the revellers, like
Yeah,
drunken
yeah,
people
yeah.
giving you hassle?
Yeah.
Would you say you get more hassle from people like that than from homeless people?
Yes, definitely. A lot of us homeless, we look out for each other.
And are there a lot of people homeless on the streets in Coventry at the moment?
Yeah, there is. There's a few, not as much as there was last year.
So what do you think the reason for the decline in numbers on the streets in Coventry is? 'Cause
They are trying to help us out more.
yeah, and who's helping?
Steps to Change charity. Yeah, there's some really nice people that work there, so
Okay, cool, yeah.
they're helping me as well. So
I miss my children, brother. I lose everything.
You lost everything?
I lost everything.
Where?
My house, my wife, my children, everything, brother. I lose everything, brother.
How do I ask what happened if you want to tell your story?
Because I don't know what happened. I smoke weed, I take alcohol, I take drug, everything. I lose money. That's why I lose my children, I lose my family, I lose my wife.
So you're estranged from your family?
Yes, brother, I'm very sad with my family. I want my family back, I want my children back. My big son is 18-year-old boy. 1 week ago, about 2 weeks ago, he got to the London University. London University.
That must make you proud.
His name is Ismailuddin Arif.
Do you have any steps you think you can take to get back to them?
Yeah, I will try. I will try. I will try.
I think you should.
I will try, yeah.
Nothing like that is ever worth giving up on, my friend.
Yes, brother. Yes, my friend. I will try.
Yeah.
But alcohol is not my problem. I think my main problem is some drugs are very good.
Yeah.
Some drugs are very good. But my main problem is, I think, weed.
Yeah.
Weed. This country is not legal weed, anything not legal. Weed, drug, anything.
Yeah.
Police can catch you, you can finish. But you can drink alcohol.
Yeah.
It's illegal.
If this
illegal.
if this was created
Yeah.
these days, this would be illegal. The amount of social and physical harm that alcohol causes,
Yeah.
but of course it pervades our culture thousands and thousands of years, so it's normal to everyone.
Yeah.
And it ruins more lives than many drugs.
I know.
So just day by day, just try and have one less can until you get to that point where maybe you can reach back out to your family again.
Thank you, brother.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you,
What's
sir.
your name, my friend?
Muhammad.
Mohammed. My name's Wendell.
Mohammeduddin.
Thank you so much, everyone. You've been so welcoming. Thank you. The people of Coventry, wonderful, warm
Bless
people.
up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So I'm down here at Canal Basin. I've just bumped into this gentleman who's travelling around the UK on this beautiful barge. What's your name, mate?
Ken.
Ken. And his dog. What's
And
the dog
that's
called?
Jack.
Hello, Jack. You've been looking after the barge, haven't you?
Yeah.
You have a security guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've just travelled down the Coventry Canal.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the next stop?
Rugby,
Rugby.
then Leicester,
Yep.
Loughborough,
Yeah.
then Nottingham.
Wonderful. And how long's that going to take?
How long's a piece of string?
A leisurely pace.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is, I find Canal Basin here incredibly interesting because of the juxtaposition between the 18th century canal and all the old buildings, and then you've got the 60s tower blocks, which
Yeah.
Coventry is quite infamous for.
It is. It's nice.
Yeah.
And we've just been into the town to the cathedral and what have you.
I went around the cathedral earlier.
Really nice.
Splendid.
Yeah.
I've wanted to go there all my life.
Yeah. It is,
Yeah,
it's
it's a
lovely.
wonderful spot.
Yeah.
And the people are really friendly and welcoming as
They
well.
are.
So here you have the face of Coventry in 2023. The old 60s tower blocks, not too pleasing on the eye, and then the modern Coventry built during the last 5 years. Quite the juxtaposition. So what is there to say about Coventry, folks? In a way, it's a city that's quite synonymous with many inland, medium-sized towns or cities in the UK in the present day. Incredibly multicultural, a lot of problems, a bit rough around the edges, but I must say Coventry's been incredibly welcoming, a lot of really friendly people. People on the streets that I've bumped into, most of them have been amiable and quite happy to talk to me. So yeah, I came here with a little bit of a negative preconception of Coventry, and it isn't the most pleasing on the eye when you get into some of these old precincts, but I would say it's worth the visit because it's definitely a city on the up. The cathedral in itself is incredibly historically interesting and definitely worth visiting. So yeah, Coventry folks, I came away with a better opinion of the city than I walked in with.